Um, I wish I could grab my belt. Dub already got his.
Felt the ass.
It was a beating, a beating. And listen, if you're already subscribed to in the arena, you've done half your job. Remember, we need that CLS treatment, comment, like, subscribe. But if you are already subscribed, you got the picks here. We told you over 48 points. What did they do? They gave you 62. We told you Eagles money line. What did they do? They put Belta, you know what? Um, what a game. I know Dub and I were texting throughout. Um, I wish I could grab my belt. Dub already got his.
Felt the ass.
It was a beating, a beating. And listen, if you're already subscribed to in the arena, you've done half your job. Remember, we need that CLS treatment, comment, like, subscribe. But if you are already subscribed, you got the picks here. We told you over 48 points. What did they do? They gave you 62. We told you Eagles money line. What did they do? They put Belta, you know what? Um, a few thoughts about the game. Big shout out to Jalen Hurts. A lot of people have criticized Jalen Hurts for his ability to get the ball downfield accurately. I've been a critic at times, but boy, did he play well. So this is two championship games that he's faced off with Patrick Mahomes, and he's outplayed Patrick Mahomes in both games. He outplayed him 2 years ago. They just didn't get the ball last, and they ended up losing that game. But it was lights out. I thought Saquon Barkley would do a little bit more on the ground, but I did say if they stopped Saquon Barkley, it was a big if, and they were able to do that. What would they do with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert? All of those guys had big games. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown both had a touchdown. Devontae Smith had 4 or 5 receptions. A.J. Brown had 3 receptions. And everybody showed up. Jahan Dotson showed up, made a few big plays. The Eagles were clicking on all cylinders. The X factor in this game that I didn't anticipate was something that I've never seen done before. A team makes a decision that we're not going to blitz Patrick Mahomes at all. We're going to rush 4, drop 7 in the coverage. And it caused fits. It wreaked havoc on the Chiefs' timing. Patrick Mahomes couldn't get his feet set. He kind of was all out of sorts. Those 4 guys and Jordan Davis and the other guys up front were really very physical on a Chiefs offensive line that hasn't played great all season. We've been saying, hey, the Chiefs have just been skating by. They've just been barely getting by. Your starting guard moved to tackle. You got him playing tackle, and he got exposed last night. This was just an all-around dominant win. I don't think I've seen a team that was a favorite in the Super Bowl get beat the way that the Chiefs. I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm trying to think back in my mind. I do remember the undefeated Patriots where I was, my freshman year in college when the Giants pulled off that upset of the undefeated Patriots and ruined their undefeated season. But it wasn't just an onslaught like last night. Nobody was down 30-6, 40-6. That was a beating. What are your thoughts on it, Doug?
Man, I wasn't expecting for it to be that bad. I mean, bro, in the first half, the Chiefs didn't even have a first down. Like, that's how bad it was. What's your boy's name that play DB? Is it Cooper Regine? What's his name?
Cooper Regine.
Cooper. Oh, bruh. Iowa State. Hawkeye.
Iowa. Yep.
Hawkeye.
Yep.
Who won MVP?
Jalen Hurts.
I don't know, man. That could have been an argument for him to win MVP. He was so physical. Special teams, he was amazing. Defensively, he was amazing. I mean, the scheme, the scheme, the Eagles' defensive scheme last night was amazing.
Perfect.
And then what I want to point out is Kellen Moore. Let's give him some kudos because he betted on himself. He left the Cowboys, right? Went to Philly and Philly had a pretty dominant offense all season. And in D Town, they were throwing the ball around a lot. They had that Prescott. They had different tools that they could utilize. What he did in Dallas was he took what he had and he cultivated an offense that was fitting for what they needed to be. And they were able to be versatile and they were able to travel with their offense, right? Last
Yep.
night, they ran the ball, but it wasn't that effective, right? The
Yep.
passing curve, and I can say that was attributed to how well the defense played. They didn't have to put their offense in compromising positions. So, bravo to Philly. 2 Super Bowls within 10 years. Could we be talking about one of the best teams, like one of the greatest teams within the past, 10 years outside of the Chiefs? Yep. Yeah, because they've won 2 Super Bowls. Um,
Well, I don't know about that because this team has a totally different makeup than the team that won a few years ago. So I wouldn't put them in that conversation simply because it's two totally different teams. Like it's not the same quarterback, not the same head coach.
I get
Um,
that, but
yeah,
I don't think we've seen that dominant of a win in the past. We've been spoiled to see very competitive Super Bowls over the past few years. That game on Sunday was not competitive. It was not competitive.
yeah, that's true.
It wasn't. So for me, that performance was hands down one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen. Like that is the best game the Philadelphia Eagles played all season. And you got to give it up to Nick Sirianni. The team peaked at the right time. They were able to piece it all together. The game plan was superb. The scheme was superb. And one of the things that he decided to do this season was to relinquish his play calling duties, and he gave it to Kellen Moore.
Great to
And
see.
yes, and honestly, it takes a sense of selflessness to make that happen because now you can focus on the operation side of everything, making sure everything is in queue, and if you need to intervene, you can. So, shout out to Nick Sirianni. I thought he was arrogant, but when I take a step back at it and look at how he did things, that was just a level of confidence that he had that came off his arrogance to me. But shout out to the Eagles, man. Shout out to the Eagles.
Yeah, man, they stood on business, and tough day for Joe Schoen with the Giants. I mean, you look back to the phone call that's lived in infamy that everybody got to see for whatever reason. I don't know who. I guess it was on Hard Knocks, or I don't know why we can see him having that phone call, but
Yeah.
you let one of the best running backs in the game, in your own words, go out there, see what he can get on the market, and he went out there and got what he wanted, and he also got a Super Bowl with your division rival. So,
That
we don't give out a donkey of the day like the Breakfast Club, but if we did, it would be for him.
donkey of the day. There you go.